All right, greetings everybody, and welcome to week number 9. That is right, week number 9 of your 9489 class, which is your cultural heritage class. As always, I'm your professor, Dr. Jace K. Austin, and what we are going to do today is mostly, yes, just going to be the state of the course update. The reason for that is that I think that as far as the topic for this week, I think that the readings just pretty much tell the story themselves. I think that I have a good lineup of readings for you for this week. And then on the other side of things, I don't always concentrate on the topic at hand on my check-in videos, but this time around, I also don't really have anything else noteworthy that I really want to talk about. And so, not that I'm trying to shortchange you all, I'm absolutely not. But I am trying to gear up and get ready for grading e-portfolios, and then also my reference class, which is my other class that I'm teaching this semester. They are getting ready to start their LibGuides, and that's a big deal for those of you who have me in reference. You know that the LibGuide thing is big, 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 big when people are trying to do their first LibGuides. So I'm going to have a long check-in video for them, so I kind of have to cut some angles here and there because I've got other stuff going on too, as do all of you. We are all busy working people, and we love it. We are never bored because there is always something to do in the library sphere. With that said, yeah, let's go ahead and get into that state of the course update. The main thing that you need to know, the primary thing that you need to know is that, yes, your many interviews of cultural heritage workers are going to be due this week. Scroll, 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 scroll. Where is it? Many. Okay, yeah, there you go. They are due on March the 17th. It is currently March the 11th, so they are going to be due on Sunday. A lot of you have already turned this in. 8 of you have already turned it in, and even though I have not, for those of you who attached files, I've not actually glanced over the files that you have attached, but for those of you who just copied and pasted your interviews in, I did kind of glance over them, and everyone seems to have done pretty much what I want. So I don't anticipate you all having any problems with the mini interviews. Again, what you're going to do, and there's not going to be a check-in video next week because we're going to have a guest speaker next week, so I do want to mention this now. Next week, and I'll probably put a announcement in the class about this as well, but next week, what you're going to be able to do, and you don't have to do it next week, but do it sometime before the class ends. But next week, I think that what you should start being able to do is sort of reviewing the interviews that your classmates have put up if you want to review those. And that way, you can just get a fuller picture of what some of the jobs in the cultural heritage sphere are. And then also, if you are interested in pursuing one of those types of jobs, then hopefully those interviews will help you determine what you need to do in order to pursue one of those jobs. So say all that to say that, yeah, you are, that is vocational guidance. That is the big vocational guidance piece that I offer in this class. And it's also peer-to-peer learning, is just to learn what different people are doing as far as cultural heritage work. And if you want to pursue that type of work, then this should be vocational guidance to help you figure out how to get there, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So that is out of the way. And then the next thing that I want to mention is, yes, again, I'm going to confirm with Andrea at some point this week, but next week you will not have a check-in video because next week we are going to have Andrea Jackson Gavin with the HBCU Trust. HBCU means Historically Black College and University. The HBCU Trust, she is going to come and talk about her career trajectory, and some of the challenges and issues that face HBCUs when they are attempting to do the cultural heritage thing, because there are a unique set of circumstances that they deal with. And so, and some of you may end up working in HBCUs, so this is career guidance as well. One thing that has always kind of, I guess it's always kind of weirded me out, but it does make sense, I guess. A lot of white people don't think that they can actually work in at a HBCU. They don't think that HBCUs hire white people, and they actually very much do. If you go to a HBCU library, you are going to see plenty of white people working in those, okay? So I say that in part to say, don't be afraid to apply to a job at a HBCU. Not only might you get it, but you might enjoy it. There are a lot of white people who enjoy working at black colleges. And by the way, I do Also, let me be clear, I do realize that a few of the students in here are not white, so I apologize that I'm making this kind of white normative, but most of you are white. For those of you, I do know that I have black students in here, so you all are probably already aware that yes, HBCUs are an option for you employment-wise, as are PWIs or predominantly white institutions, okay? And then there are people in this class who are not black or white. I haven't forgotten about you all either. And yes, HBCUs can be a career opportunity for you all as well. Now, I do want to say to Sydney that there are not going to be HBCUs. Me and you have talked, and I'm not going to air out all your business, but I know that you are, and I think you've said in class, so I don't think I'm saying anything I'm not supposed to say. I think you've said in class that you are considering a move to the United States. I won't say where you are thinking about moving because I don't think you put that in the class, but I will say that the area that you are considering moving to, there are not historically black colleges there, just to be honest with you, but that's okay. You will have opportunities for employment where you do end up as well, Sydney, and also to all these students, yes. Just know that there are different types of colleges and different types of heritage institutions, and all the different types a lot of times bring their own unique challenges, but also their unique benefits as well. Okay, so I look forward to having Andrea next week. And then aside from that, I do hope to have your first papers graded soon. There's just, again, been a lot of stuff going on, but I know that your second papers are due on April 7th. So I want to give you all plenty of time to incorporate whatever feedback from the first papers, especially with APA. I want you to have time to incorporate that feedback and do well on your second papers. Okay. And that is pretty much it. The discussion boards are, for the most part, going fine. You all are, for the most part, turning your work in on time and completing your discussion boards on time and all those things. So I'm very pleased with how the course is going. And again, this is probably the easiest class in the CISL catalog. And I meant it to be that way. I didn't see any need to make this class unnecessarily hard. So having said that, yeah, those of you who are doing well, yes, I expect you to do well because it's an easy class, but I will say that all of you have risen to the challenge, or maybe the challenge isn't the right phrasing, but all of you have risen to the task. There you go. All right. Now just a few words, because I do like to say a few things aside from the state of the course update. I would say really for you all right now, the main thing that I want you all to concentrate on is just when it comes to sort of digesting the material that we have this week, when it comes to cemeteries and that sort of thing. First of all, I didn't know when I was designing this class back in 2020, I wasn't sure whether or not a cemetery module would go over well, but then it turned out that in the past, at least, the students actually really like the cemetery module, especially those students who have had anthropology backgrounds, which a lot of librarians do. And I know at least one student in this class this semester also has an anthropology background. So they enjoy the cemetery unit a lot. And I would say that the tie-in between cemeteries and libraries really isn't readily apparent. But what I would say to that is, and there are not a lot of libraries, not a lot of public libraries that are doing a lot with cemeteries, if I'm just being honest with you. But my thing is, just because they're not doing it now doesn't mean that they can't do it in the future, if that makes sense, okay? So what I mean by that is there are cemeteries, local cemeteries are very important. They're very important for cultural heritage reasons. They're very important for other reasons as well. And what I would say is that public libraries actually, if they had the staff power, which that's the problem, we don't have the staff power. But I think that if public libraries were better funded and had more employees and that sort of thing, then one of the things that they could do would be to keep cemetery records, probably go to local cemeteries, not take the records, but maybe duplicate them, digitize them, that sort of thing, and make those accessible to people who might be researching cemeteries and researching other things related to the past in the local area. That's not something you see a lot of public library is doing now, but I think it is something that if we had more staffing power in public libraries, we would be able to do that. And again, I think that's very important. Now, a lot of public libraries do have ways to pull up obituaries, and a lot of public libraries have heritage quests, which helps with genealogy and that sort of thing. And as we all know, cemeteries are also important for genealogy work. But again, I don't think that a lot of public libraries are in the habit as of yet to, as far as keeping cemetery records and maybe digitizing them and making them accessible for people who don't necessarily want to go all over the landscape trying to do research at cemeteries. Okay, so I think there's growth, even though there's not a lot that I can put down as far as literature for what cemeteries and libraries are doing in collaboration. I think that that is a area for potential growth. And I would also even say that as you all are looking for jobs, if this is something that interests you, that might be something that you can say in a job interview that might set you apart, would be to say, well, I would be interested if you're applying to a public library. I would say, I don't know about school or academic libraries as much, but for a public library, if you're applying for a public library job, yeah, I think the one thing that you can say is, hey, one of these ideas that I have for contributing to this library would be a local cemetery project where I digitize records, make things accessible to researchers who may not have the time to go to all of the different cemeteries in the area. Or if they want a starting place, then the library can be the starting place, and then they can go to the cemeteries in the area. Now, you would have to, of course, get agreements from the cemetery owners and that sort of thing to to keep those materials and that sort of thing, but I think it can be done. So again, I think that there is room for collaboration there, and I think that it's an undertapped market that we've got to get into. Okay, I'm actually going to leave it there, so we're going to be under 13 minutes, and so I would say with the closing, I am Dr. Jace, and cemeteries are part of that puzzle of heritage as place and placemaking. All right, again, no check-in video next week, and we will see you next Wednesday to talk with Andrea Jackson Gavin. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you on the discussion boards.